Hey, hail hydrate. Hey, Nick, how's it going, man? Alright. Well, I think we are all good to go here. Sorry for the delay. The days are just packed. Well, anyway, I think we're good to go here. So let's just jump into Eve and do our thing. So my shipment of drugs finally arrived. Hooray! It is a good feel. Let's consume some of said drugs before we get going. I haven't flown around in a Gnosis in a while. I really want to take one out. I honestly haven't really just been flying any of these buffer tank BCs or even really BS lately. And at the warp speed buff to battle cruisers, it's a lot more attractive to do. So let's see if we can have any fun doing it. Cat gift preloaded. Hey, Soprian. Alright. Hey, Dark and Vox. Did your stream just start? Vox, it just started. I totally messed up my sleep schedule, but now I get to watch live. Hey, fantastic. Good to have you, Nick. Dopope, I have a good feeling about tonight's stream as well. Mostly because I'm getting to see a lot of friendly faces in the chat. It's good to have you guys. You're far too organized. Stop it. Stop it! Well, we got some fun, chill tunes to listen to. Been exploring some of the mixes that Spotify has. I actually picked up a couple of songs. I'm quite happy about that. Hey, Darwin. Good to have you. Varric, Bruco. That's a big cat gif. Oh, is it a big cat gif? Oh, yes. It's the boy pussy. Is that... He got head stuck in the... Yes, he did. That is brilliant. That's something all cats aspire to. It's amazing. Oh my god. I'm supposed to be streaming and talking with you guys and doing stuff that's entertaining, but I've been completely won up by a lion that got his head stuck in the barrel. That's amazing. Have I listened to ESM played on Spotify? Very good. ESM. ESM. Is that a playlist? I don't know. I've not listened to that. Oops. I just watched your video with Big Miker and was like, I've not watched this stream in some time. I should go check him out, see if he's on. Haha, nice, Vox. Yeah. Big Miker's latest production was amazing, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm really curious if the devs ever thought that a Marauder would be used that way. It's definitely not how the attributes really kind of play out. Marauders are not fast ships by any means, but the mechanics are very good for what Miker does. And kind of interesting thing about what Miker's doing with the Marauder nano fitting it and such is that it really doesn't have much tank to it. But the context of how he's actually flying it and the kind of gangs that he's pitting it against, it's typically the type of gang that a Marauder wouldn't be terribly effective against. At the worst case, for a skirmishing fleet, they would only be able to... they'd have to like force it through a gate or something, or they could just leave. But the amount of mobility he pumps in that shit is quite amazing. I mean, in Bastion mode, without crystals, without a lot of the niceties of a big old buffer tank, not big old buffer, a big old active tank Marauder, he doesn't really have that much active repairs to his ship. So it's really a treat to see him go around and go crazy with it, go ham. What's my opinion on low bling Marauders? People tend to bling them, making them really expensive losses and not viable to fly a lot, but they're still extremely powerful even without the bling. Well, here's the other thing about them is that even if you don't bling them, while they have better insurance than, say, a faction battleship, their build cost is higher, therefore their insurance payout is much better than a faction battleship of comparable price or value. They're still incredibly expensive ships. So most players, including myself, when I'm faced with a ship that costs a lot of ISK, I don't feel near as bad and feel like, in fact, I feel that if I'm going to be flying a Marauder, putting at least, at the bare minimum, a couple 100 million ISK into the fitting is warranted. Just to help solidify the investment and try to get more money out of it. So you're trying to kind of pay forward to get more benefit down the road once you actually get into a fight. But as far as not spending, say, a couple billion ISK instead of just like, say, I don't know, 500 million ISK in mods and that sort of thing, I think a lot of the modules that Micro put on, say, his blingy Marauder aren't necessary. For example, faction damage mods in general don't net that much more damage output. If you go through, say, Micro's Lost board and you see actually some of the Nano BS fits that he takes around, just about all of his fittings, he has faction on most of the modules. A lot of them, you get small returns on it for a big price. You can shave off a couple 100 million ISK from most of Micro's fittings and still have a very powerful battleship. Some faction mods, I would say it's pretty much necessary. Like, there's huge benefits out of fitting them. An example of that would be a Federation Navy Webfire, or just faction Webfires in general. A Federation Navy Web, you're nearly doubling your Webfire range for, like, the low price of 60 million ISK. In comparison to the base cost of a Marauder, it's nothing. Hey, Captain Kill. What's up with the cat? What is up with the cat? Cat! You're starting to understand, Little B. You're starting to understand. But, yeah, I mean, so it was a roundabout answer, but my take on it is that if you're going to put money into, like, a fair bit of money into a ship, you may as well invest a little bit more into it anyway. Can you fly around in a faction cruiser battleship, Tech 2 battleship, and just Tech 2 fit it? Yeah, sure. There's nothing stopping anyone from doing that. And if you were to compare prices, you'd probably be able to fly like 3 Marauders for the price of one of Big Micro's Nano Marauders. You get a lot less out of the ship, and it isn't very possible that his faction fittings may have saved him his bacon, but it's risk versus reward. It's the choice of, I'm going to be a little bit less effective but get more volume of PvP. Normally when I look at PvP, I look at volume. I try to get affordable fits and the greatest volume of PvP that I can. That's my take on it, typically. So, how you actually decide to apply that, it's up to the player. Brewcrow, I would say it's actually very similar in that, you can be flying a ship hull that costs like 1 million ISK and invest 100 million ISK into it. It really just depends on, one, your ISK situation, your financial situation, and two, whether or not you're going to enjoy yourself doing it. Like, I think a lot of people, if they have the ISK for it and if they have the revenue for it, they really enjoy throwing a lot of money into fittings and flying a crazy fitting that no one really expects. Like, I don't know, a Condor with a domination point. No one expects to get pointed out, 30, 36 km or, 40 to 50 km with links. No one ever expects that. So you can do some really surprising things when you actually put a couple of shiny mods onto a cheaper ship. People just kind of lose their minds at that relative investment that you've made into your ship. An Officer Hugin, yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I mean, faction damage mods are typically for fitting. That's very true. I mean, they do buff your DPS a bit, not a huge amount, but a bit. I find that most fittings these days don't require them for fitting purposes, though, which, well, kind of sad. Is it's nice in my book. Yeah, Mr. Bond like fed webs on a hyena. It's you're putting a tackle module on like a 60 million ISK tackle module if you only fit one onto like a 20 million ISK ship. It's quite a huge investment, but it really does make sense. And if you fly hyenas a lot, and if you can afford Federation Navy webifiers, and if you're comfortable with the potential loss, why not increase the effectiveness of your ship by leaps and bounds? Just realized my drones were not in the thingy. Let's get them in a thingy. Slayer, that's generally my opinion as well. I mean, if you're trying to learn a ship, then Tech 2, a cheaper fitting is a decent way to start. But there are quite a few ships that the only way for you to really learn it is when you actually fly the intended fitting. There's not many like that, but if you're trying to teach yourself to use, say, the range on a Federation Navy webifier, or get used to the cycle time on a faction shield booster, something like that, it's important for you actually to get used to the faction module. Usually for me, that's thinking in terms of faction tackle range. I don't often think in terms of faction tackle range. I have to remind myself of a module that I've fitted for a Rome. My biggest problem is with faction scramblers. Webifiers, I fly with Federation Navy webifiers enough where it's not that big of a deal. But a faction scrambler, I always forget. I always forget what the actual tackle range is. I'm constantly mousing over the module to remind myself of the tackle range. And my biggest issue with scramblers is the overheat range with faction mods. Most of my losses occur from something where a faction mod wouldn't have saved me, so I fit Tech 2. It really Slayer, it really depends how you fly and how you choose your fights. I find that I tend to know when I'm putting myself in a really risky situation. And with that in mind, yeah, it's, quite often faction modules aren't really going to save you if you already know that you're doing something that is not necessarily good for the longevity of your ship. I have generally a very good idea whether or not I'm about to lose my ship, or I'm flying into a trap, or I'm flying into something that is very risky. One of the nicer things about faction modules is that you can be a lot more conservative. Like, especially if you're looking at faction tackle, you can hold the target from further than most other people can hold you. So, say if you engage someone's bait, you can then engage them and fight them without them being able to effectively hold you down. But it really does depend on how you fly. So, I mean, if you fly a lot of brawly ships with scram webs, yeah, the only way faction would save you is by killing that target faster, disabling them more effectively, or keeping you alive. And for the most part, PvP these days is so numerically biased, where, I mean, if you're running around by yourself, you're more than likely these days than even, say, 5 years ago to get swarmed by a number of players. And let me say that, let me rephrase that by more players than in the past. If you get blobbed, you get blobbed. Yeah, that's been a truism in EVE for a very long time. But it really depends on how you fly. If you fly a lot of kitey stuff, then I think you get a lot more dividends back from blinging out your ship. If you fly a lot of brawly stuff like I do, then you're not going to get as much benefit out of the faction stuff, because you fly riskier. Scrambling out to 20 km with a scrambler, oh my goodness, I bet that does feel weird. I can't remember the last time. A Gila can scramble out that far? What? That doesn't sound right, Brandon. What is the range on the faction scram? So it should be like what? 12 km? Maybe 14 with heat? Maybe 16 with links? On a Gila? That sounds weird, Brandon. Sounds a little bit much. No, I get the heat. I get it. But really, it reaches up to 20 km without bonuses? That's like a range I'd expect Lachesis to scram out to. I'm pretty sure Lachesis can scram out to around 22, 23 with the faction scram. It's very rare to see, they're very expensive. Oh, yeah, you're off by 2.5 kilometers. Okay, thank you. Yeah, 18 km seems more plausible. 20 km seemed a little bit outlandish. I used to put a single faction newt on the Sentinel back when they had 18 km newt range, allowed to newt at point range with one newt. I like that, Rambo. I like that. And I miss when the Sentinel was balanced. And it had a reasonable newting range. I miss those days. It's too much bullshit creep in this game. We're not going to call it power creep anymore. We're going to call it bullshit creep. Heard it here first. That sounds about right, Burchrome. I fit up the Barkeist that Dimitri gifted me the other day, on Monday, I believe. And I think that's about the scrambler range it had, with a 10% per level bonus. I think it's the same bonus that the Proteus gets. Oh man. I don't know how to feel about that Barkeist, man. I mean, the look of the ship aside, I'm such a denier of the rapid heavy missile launcher. I really dislike that weapon system. It's got 7 launchers and it has a damage bonus. It's like exactly what we need for rapid heavies, but I still don't like it. It's not good enough, man. And the worst thing for me is that it has this tackle range bonus, which means that I'm really tempted to shoot rapid heavy missiles, shoot my heavy missiles at range when something's like MWDing, and I'm going to get like no application at all. It's painful, and you can see it in Micro's videos. Like when he's trying to kill people with rapid heavies, it's really painful to watch. Preach it, Slayer. Tell me about that bullshit creep. That's a problem with heavy missiles. It very much is. Heavy missiles, they don't have a lot going for them. In fact, I would say the only thing they possibly have going for them is damage selection. But unfortunately, a lot of the ships that could be good with heavy missiles have this very heavy reliance on kinetic damage, so very frustrating weapon system. Used to be good. Used to be too good. And it got like slammed in the face with a Nerf bat. always have fun with waving at people in this game. They always use one arm. I tend to use like at least two arms and maybe a leg. Maybe even two legs. Just kind of, put everything out there. If you see like 5 lines, I really like you, because everything's up. Yeah, I can link it right now, Iron. I'm pretty sure I stole this fitting module for module from Mr. Hyde. He flew quite a few of these. What's that mean, Johnny Pugh? Frigates go at reasonable speed until they got snaked and linked. I don't know, man. Draymills and Garmers are absurdly fast. And I think those are the biggest culprits for going way too fast. Attack frigates go very fast. They're also big culprits for going too fast. In my opinion, if something's going... And this is all relative. I mean, things have gone ridiculously fast in the past, and I think everyone agreed they went ridiculously fast, but whenever you're pushing past 4 kilometers a second, I think that's kind of like a break point for just ridiculous speed, ludicrous speeds. People just think about when CCP was first implementing WSD control for just moving their ship in space, like using your arrow keys to move around in space. One of the bigger complaints that players had is that, what the hell, this is going to be absolutely useless for any player to put into any sort of use. And the reason for that is that there's server tick. There's too much lag in this game for that to be useful. Well, how about flying around at 4 clicks a second or greater, 6, 8, start pushing the envelope, and trying to control your ship? It's absurd. You're predicting what your ship's going to be doing more than you're actually actively piloting it. You're kind of predicting this kind of lag-induced course through space. I don't know why I thought this was a large outpost for a moment. I was really wishing it was a large outpost. I didn't really get my wish. Kind of sucks. Is this just mission central? Boo. I got a scrambler. I don't even have a long point. Not too fond of even trying to go for a bomber in a mission. If I was in a frigate, I might try for it. Well, yeah, that's another thing, Nick Sarn. When things are going so fast, you're, for example, if we're talking about like a fast-moving interceptor or something, and I'm activating a scrambler module, like I'm activating my scrambler when the guy's like 30 km away, just because between server tick and him shooting past me, the scrambler is going to activate at a range that it doesn't really seem like he should be at. But I know, because of lag, he's going to be there, and I need to be activating that module now, or else I'm going to lose my opportunity to even tackle him. Because if I'm trying to activate my tackle when he's in my scrambler range, he's going to be like, 4 km plus past scrambler range by the time the server tick happens, and the server actually looks at where I am and where that ship is. Very frustrating. Hey, Dirty Doorknob, how's it going, man? Oh yeah, the velocity improvements with faction and Dead Space modules. I'm not so much worried about those. I'm more interested and worried about signature changes with the faction and Dead Space modules. I'm very intrigued about how that's going to change the interaction of smaller ships with bigger ships. I would definitely say that things like signature adjustments and speed adjustments really should just be set aside until off-grid links are addressed. Or just warfare links. I shouldn't even say off-grid links, warfare links are addressed. I don't think it's really that big of a difference with speed. I don't think it's going to really be changing the game much at all. It's probably just going to be driving up people that like to fly blingy stuff. It's going to give them more reason to fly with blingier stuff. Okay, whatever. They're still going to be going ridiculously fast. They're going to still be more or less incredibly difficult for me to deal with. But I don't think it's something that really should be added to the game. I don't think it's really helping the game. I don't think it's improving the game. Unless we had this removal of warfare links as an omnipresent addition to every fight in EVE. As long as you have an alt or a friend with an alt handy. "20 AU per second warp speed tackle Dramiel are bullshit speed creep." Was that 3 Tech 2 hyperspatials? Is that drives it to 20 AU plus? Maybe with the 6% or the slot 6 hardwiring? Is that what 20 AU per second is? Is that where you're getting that number? Honestly, I don't think you get much out of having anything past around 12 AU per second. It's kind of a silly number. I don't know if you ever run around in a frigate that had 20 AU per second warp speed. It's only in ridiculously long systems like several hundred AU across where you really see the effect of that. When you get to like super high warp speed ships, like honestly the things that are going to hold you back going between systems is this interaction with the Stargate. All warfare links are incredibly powerful. Just because skirmish ones are synergizing with the preferred means of killing lots of players without taking a loss. That's small gang, micro gang PvP. Doesn't mean that they are any less or more powerful than armor links or shield links or even recon links. Recon links being the least popular. Recon linked E-warships are absurd. You can quite easily get your good old-fashioned Falcon that can hang outside of sentry range, or Scorpion that can hang outside of sentry range, with a little bit of recon links. That used to be a big ticket item that people really abhorred. Well, skirmish links don't... Well, okay. Parts of the skirmish link set are incredibly good for pretty much all forms of PvP. I don't think the Talker range really adds much to medium to large size PvP. The signature radius one really only affects the cruiser and below meta, which, 80 to 90% of EVE are always flying in, so there's that. And the speed links, most people are flying around with propulsion modules these days. It affects just about everybody. But doubling your remote repairs from armor or shield doctrine with armor links is amazing. It's utterly amazing. And like I've been saying with recons, if you have a couple of recon E-warships with recon links, they're going to jam harder. They're going to jam from farther. What's the last one? Oh yes, then you have lock range and increased resistance to Eeyore. Pretty useful stuff. All around pretty useful stuff. Yeah. And then there's the, right, as Queenie's pointing out, then there's the lovely using shield or armor links for local tanks. Oh man, is that cheese. It's so cheesy. It's so cheesy. I like the surprise element of links for that kind of PvP, but I really wish there would be more to it. I wish it'd be kind of like decloaking your Falcon ult. Or your buddy in a Falcon, you could say. Pretty sure this thing has good lock range. No, actually it doesn't. It's pretty average. Oh, +6. Doesn't seem like it was with the Omen, though. I feel like I'm like a praying mantis, you know? Just snatching a fly out of the air. My friend, the Falcon. Yeah. Texan Brewer, okay. Hopefully looks like some people have been talking to you. What's the best resource for someone who's never played? This is interesting, but Greek, yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I'm pretty much catering to a crowd of players that have been playing this game for a long time, Texan, so it's, like you said, it's gonna be Moonspeak. Honestly, some of the best resources just is doing what you're doing right now, is asking questions. If you're an interested viewer into the EVE Online gaming experience, I can start talking about it here in a bit. But honestly, I would say once you jump into the game, Google. But we can probably get you sorted here. What I'm doing right now, I'm running around and looking for player versus player combat. I actually just blew up a ship. I blew up another player. Yes, Pip, I'm flying in a hull tank. Joining a bad corp is worse than not joining a corp. You mean... I don't know, Bruco. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think trying to get into find an appropriate organization for yourself is a lot more important than eschewing that and then getting burned out because you have no one to play with. But anyway, let's see, is Texan still in the chat? Don't necessarily want to be wasting my breath here. Yeah, you're still here. So Texan, so this game, it's a MMO. It's a sandbox style game with a lot of hardcore elements to it. It's been around for about 12 years now. So the basis of this game is that you're a starship captain, and you're just you're pretty much trying to make your way through the very hostile world of New Eden. It's a single shard game, which means everyone's on the same server, except for people that live in China. So anyone that's playing this game, more or less, you will be able to find them at some point or another in this game. Like I said, it's a sandbox style experience, so there's no winning this game. It's really dependent on what enjoyment of this game is really dependent on if you set goals for yourself and if you want to challenge yourself, or perhaps if you just don't even want to challenge yourself. It's really what you do in this game. It's up to you. If you don't really push yourself, then you're not going to find yourself challenged. I really emphasize that this game is a MMO. It's a massively multiplayer online game. A lot of players, when they're just getting started in this game, find themselves kind of lost and alone. They find themselves doing things they don't necessarily enjoy, and they don't really know what else to do in this game, and then they fairly quickly leave the game. I mean, they'll do tutorials, whatever, but then they don't join a community, and then they get burned out and they leave very quickly. One of my biggest pieces of advice to someone that's looking at EVE Online and seeing shiny spaceships and seeing and hearing cool stories about the game is that you really need to get with the community. And you need to get with a community that meshes with you, meshes with your personality and what you want to do, and most importantly, that you have fun with. There's been a little bit of mention in the chat about, getting into a bad community is, the worst thing that could happen. I don't agree. Like I was saying, it's really important in this game that you make friends and you find friends, and as I like to put it, that you find a mentor as soon as possible. This game is very complex. It's been around, like I said, for 12 years. There's 12 years worth of stuff that's been built into it. This game started out pretty complex, and it's only grown since there. One of the most challenging things for a new player is just how much shit is in this game. There's so much that you pretty much need to build on from a knowledge-based perspective. So if you enjoy challenges and you enjoy learning a system and you enjoy a very deep and complex game, then EVE Online is probably one of the better ones on the market. But a big part of being able to take on that information, just learning the basics of many of the core game elements can take you weeks, if not months. A big part of that is getting a mentor, getting a friend to help you out. So big things are, again, communities, having goals, having aspirations in the game. And beyond that, just looking to have some fun. A lot of people take this game very seriously, so I always try to enforce with people that, it's a game, enjoy it. Yeah, but Texan, just again, if you're interested, just ask questions, man. And if you enjoy MMOs or if you enjoy hardcore games, just ask about the game. Ask about why is it a hardcore game, or what about the community makes it so special, stuff like that. Can I do this in the game? Can I do that in the game? Yeah. We'll answer your questions, and you'll get a better idea of whether or not it's something for you. Let's see here. Couple of sepals at that small, huh? It looks like the gang that jumped in here may have moved on. Let's just see if they're on the outside. This is a large image. Kill him off and them, and we'll see here in a moment if there's, in case these guys are not on the outside, which they're not. Can look at that kill in a moment. Gonna be close. I think he's gonna make it. Yeah, he made it. Nice. Good fight. Very good fight. Very close, very close, very close, very close. Ooh, the Sveeples were a third party. Oh, how? What a bummer. Because that Vagabond's dead. Oh, he's just XLASP. There's no duel about that. When you see a Vagabond putting back like 80% or more of its shield every cycle, that's an XLASP. But we should be able to find out kind of shortly. I mean, if someone digs up the Lost Mail on Z-Kill or something, that guy's probably going to be dead in moments. He's gone through most of his charges, if not all of his charges. One thing about fighting... I could have been counting his boosts. Doesn't really make much of a difference, but I could have been watching that. Alright, well, that was a good engagement. Really close. It was just kind of luck of the draw, that guy getting Seeples to shooting me versus shooting him. I think they made a good primary choice, though. Alright, well, let's jump in on a Myrmidon. I haven't been flying these too much lately. We'll see if we get good drug rolls. Okay, it's a nothing penalty. I'm not even going to take the drop. This is a perfect drug roll. Strange flying by the Vagabond. He was on a brawl fit. I'm assuming at least some of those guys were his friends. I think that's a good assumption. I don't know who was his friend and who was not. I did see a neutralizer effect coming from him onto at least one of the Seeples. I don't really understand exactly what was going on in the fight. I just assumed that everything on grid was against me. Not really sure. What I don't like about that guy's fitting is that he's using, well, the thing about his fitting with an XL ASB and a long point is it gives him the option to do kitey stuff. Usually, when I'm flying around an XL ASB Vagabond, I prefer to have a long point and a web of fire. I fly with the long point as well. I don't like the lack of web of fire. Makes it very difficult for you to deal with frigates. It's entirely possible the Vagabond didn't die. But assuming that one of those Seeples was shooting him as well, that's about 400 DPS right next to the guy, and I'm hoping he died. I live in high sec, but what? To plex each month, and I can't do that in high. You want to plex each month. You want to make enough ISK to plex your count each month, or just earn a plex each month, and you cannot do that in high sec. Well, it really depends on the time availability you have, Trav, and you can certainly do that in high sec. I think a lot of people do that with incursions. Just really depends on your time commitment. Yeah, doing exploration. There's actually a lot of options in high security space that will make you the ISK you're looking for. He did die. Okay, what was his fitting? You see, I don't like that invul fuel. I don't think that's adding much to his fitting. I think it's kind of a silly module to have on there. I also don't necessarily like his choice of 425s. He looks like he's flying in a very old style Vagabond that you'd usually have around nullsec. When I fly that Vagabond, that exact same Vagabond, I fly it with a web of fire. I fly it with, I believe, a small newt, maybe a medium newt, D120, D180s, and a tracking projectile rig. Actually, affords very good tracking with web of fire. You can deal with most frigates. Who ended up killing him? Was that entire gang a third party? That entire gang was a third party. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. One thing I'm kind of curious about as well with my own flying, I probably would have killed him with Void. I've probably should have swapped to Void. It's always a question in my mind of whether to use Void. And I think on a gank Gnosis with double web, It's a lot less of a question. Sard, what are your thoughts of the Tristan with the small extender fit? You lost to Tristan versus Tristan with pretty hard versus it. Small extender shield extenders are useless. They're utterly useless right now. There's no reason to use them. A medium shield extender, on the other hand, is a very useful module. I think what you lost to was a kiting gank Tristan, not necessarily had anything to do with the shield extender. A typical fitting for a kiting shield tank Tristan is a medium shield extender, a micro warp drive, a long point, 1 to 2, usually 2 drone damage controls. Sorry, drone damage controls. I was putting 2 modules into one in my mind. A drone damage amplifiers, and then maybe damage control. Usually damage control, sometimes a nanofiber, something like that. I can probably dig up one of my old Vagabond losses. Didn't take too long. It's been a while since I've flown the ship. I love the ship. I really do love the ship. It's one of my favorite hacks. It's probably my favorite hack. I just passed it. Load, you swine. What the fuck? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Yeah, I run it with a medium newt. The medium newt range is very, very useful for dealing with frigates these days. It's very common for you to run into frigates that will outrange your small newts. But 2 TEs, a tracking rig, and a drop pill bust your tracking to pretty awesome levels. I didn't really scratch his tank, but I also have good drone skills. That's why I thought it was the shield extender. No, I'm not really sure, Loud Noises. I don't really know the context of the fight. But there's a couple things that could have happened, Loud Noises. So if he's running around with an M280 frigate, it's entirely possible if you weren't constantly telling your drones to engage and he's M280 in a circle around you, where he's going mostly full speed. Drones have this really annoying habit. If they're dealing with a fast-moving target, if they're able to catch up to it, this will happen. So you have a fast-moving target. They'll catch up to it, then they'll kind of orbit around it at M280 speed, then they'll drop down to their normal speed. And that fast-moving target will then pull away. And then drones have this very, very annoying habit to just sit there and not continue flying after the target. Drone AI is very dumb. So it's entirely possible, even though you have good drone skills, is that your drones were being stupid and not actually attacking the target. A Tristan is actually a really good ship for killing other frigates with drones. They have a tracking bonus, an application bonus, which pretty much means any light drone is going to apply perfectly to a frigate. So I doubt it was... You should have seen damage numbers onto your opponent. Even with poor skills, you should have seen damage numbers. Nope, I'm not going to jail. I'm going to Suicide. Cabin, I think the Hurricane is a very poor ship for today's metagame. It's very underpowered. It's very similar to the Drake in that regard. Honestly, my biggest thing that I dislike about the Hurricane, very similar to the Drake, is that I don't feel that you can really afford taking off a rig for a warp rig. So not only is it slow in warp, it's mediocre when you actually come out of warp. I don't like it. Both the Drake and the Hurricane were far too heavily nerfed when they did their battlecruiser adjustments, so I don't like it much at all. Drone nerf. Oh, who's talking about a drone nerf? They could use it. I'm entirely serious. Drones could use a nerf. Amamok seemed pretty good. Let's head right back over there. Okay, fair enough. I'll try the Brutix. I think you're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck with the Brutix. Brutix does a lot better. You get a lot more damage out of it. You get way more HP out of it. It's a really good ship. Still has a lot of limitations, but you're gonna get more bang for your buck. Are those Seeples still around? I'm not in a terribly good ship for taking on Seeples. Especially groups of them. Will not stop me from attempting to engage them. Really? I wonder if they're on the outside. Let's do it. Oh my gosh. Fuck you. How frustrating. What are those ticks? 15 minutes? That's not 15 minutes. No, that's wow, it's like every 10 minutes. Holy shit. That's like every, what, 10, 15 minutes? That looks like an average time of about every 15 minutes you're making 30 million ISK. That's pretty fucking good, Clash. I'm impressed. I know you can make really good money in high sec doing that stuff, but it's honestly quite absurd. One of the nicer things about that Clash, and something I often overlook when I do my level 4 blitzing, is that you don't have to convert LP for the most part. The LP is almost bonus. It's almost a bonus. Whenever I'm doing mission blitzing in low sec, I have to take into account that I have to sell modules, I have to buy tags, I have to take the time out of my day to convert those and move them around, and then I run the risk of them getting ganked. The money you make from running, say, those incursion sites, it doesn't seem all that great, but it's hassle-free. There's a lot less time investment to it. It's incredibly good money. I think a lot of people discount the time it takes to move things around and the risk of moving things around and selling stuff. Don't really put it into their how much money they make calculation per hour. How you guys? What do you guys think of the music so far? Remember, I like LP shops. I think they're really healthy for the game. They're kind of a pain in the butt, though. Darwin, that's what I want to be hearing, man. I love the fuck out of it. Fuck. Nice. Do you use Red Fog to move that booty as well, Queenie? Oh, who's talking about Psychotic Monk? Perv! Is Incursion still over around Egmar kind of area? Probably is, isn't it? Damn it. Heavily dislike incursions. Psychotic Monk's been taking a extended break from the game. Red Frog only hauls over something like 870 km3. My butt doesn't fit. That booty, though. That booty. Somehow fitting them into those jeans, though. Woo! Oh, you missed him, Snitty. I got it. I got you. I miss him too. Psychotic Monk is one of the nicer people I bumped into in this game. It's just such an interesting thing to say about one of the more prolific and well-known scammers. He's a really cool guy. It'll be on in less than 2 days. What are we talking about, Bruco? Oh, the incursion will be gone in less than 2 days. Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Hey, C-Junks. As I understand, he's going through some personal stuff right now, Adriel. So I would give him time, but given his personality, and I'm hoping that he still enjoys video games, I think he'll come back eventually. Most people do if they played this game for any period of time. Weirdly enough, all the big scammers are super nice guys in person. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it really depends on the type of scam that a person runs. I mean, most of the confidence sort of scams where they will infiltrate your organization and kind of rip your heart out as well as your wallet. Yeah. Well, yeah, they're gonna seem like nice guys, but I mean, in general, for those type of scammers, like say a Psychotic Monk, pretty much the people that admit to doing it that I have gotten to know, yeah, they have been nice people. There's plenty of people that scam people, kind of do basic scams of, hey, I've tackled you, give me money, and then they blow up your ship, and then they harvest you for tears. And they're not necessarily nice people. AWOXers can go die in a fire pit? Oh dear. Better forget probes in wormhole space. Somebody needs to start a support group for retired Eve players. I wonder if there's already one of those in Facebook. I don't think it's good odds, but I'd say there's fair odds that it already exists on Facebook in some form or another. Probably for, like, private, but... yeah. Hey, I got that ship on my wall! How's it going, Baki? There are many ships like this, but this is my own. Oh, I think this is one of the dudes that just killed me. I think. Hello, friend. I'm gonna warp to this outpost over here. I would like for you to follow me. Let's check my lost mail. Overture, there you go. Man, I really do wish I was still in my Gnosis. That Gnosis would, I think, chew through a sequel or two. Whereas I think this Myrmidon is going to have a much harder time. Let's see, who's with him? Mark Theosis and the thingy thing. And Shiva. Shiva's not in system yet. Why do I have you marked by chance? Oh, okay. Here we go. Shiva in here now. So the two sepals in Tristan are now in system. Both on scan. I'm going to just try to pull some range. I imagine that the two of them, they're all going to arrive on grid before they engage me. So two thing, I'm not a skittish player, forcing them to come in first and tackle me alone, or else I'd warp off. Sometimes it's kind of frustrating being so aggressive. I just want to fight, man. Another thing I could do here, because I know I'm going to be fighting these guys, is swap to another web. A second web would allow me to just destroy these dudes. It's actually a really tempting thing to acquire really quick. Because I'm not really sure of my chances right now. So I think these sepals are going to chew through my drones like pretty much a wood mulcher with some branches and twigs. It's like nothing. Okay, so they've all dropped off scan. I imagine that Mark has told his friends that I am in line with the Tararon gate, and they may be coming in from that direction at 100, so they'll be closer to me. I don't really know, though. Nope, they're leaving. Evidently they don't want to be fighting a Myrmidon. That sucks. My first Corp and Eve scammed me and other new players, and some people got popped. But it's part of the game. Taking it out is a great crime, but Sarkade doesn't want me to ramble about that, so I won't. I don't think necessarily talking about what you enjoy about the game is a bad thing, Santi. I just think it's relatively fruitless. I think a better way is just to, find like-minded people, convince people, and kind of get it yourself on CSM, blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of work, though. I don't know, Whipcomb? Let's see. That's Dirt and Glitter, that's why. Because you guys bleb me occasionally. Hey Whipcomb, how's it going? I wouldn't take it too personally, Whitcomb. I'd say it's a good sign if you have orange or red standing. I'm sure he's talking about that queen. For a lot of the day, what is it? What's the term? Day tripper? For the people that would go into high-sec organizations and then destroy them from the inside out. Yeah. Honestly, there's a lot of aspects of that mechanic that was just utterly broken and really shitty. Getting rid of it as CCP did, I don't necessarily agree with, but... Yeah, Darwin, I'm kind of mixed with my opinion of it. I think, players should be able to choose how their corporations run, but I feel that if you join a corporation, that friendly fire always on, it feels right to me. And I think the worst part about it is just joining an organization that a new player doesn't know any better about, and then immediately getting killed by this organization. That's probably the worst thing about that friendly fire always on aspect. But I mean, when I entered into the game, the way I entered into the game, my expectations coming into the game, when I did like a solid week or two of research and reading up about the game and the people that play it and all that kind of stuff, and I think I was pretty well prepared for someone to do that if they were going to do that. I wouldn't necessarily know about that aspect of the game, but I would actually understand the game kind of plays that way. I think a lot of players that get into the game these days don't necessarily have that much background of the game, that much experience in the game. They don't necessarily read that much into the game. So maybe this is a kind of a generational thing, that it's about time we just finally do this. I don't know. Really? Really? They're all there, huh? God, the real question is, do I go in close or do I come in from afar? I'm really scared of just getting scrambled and the Inquisitor keeping everything up. I want things to come into me, and maybe the Inquisitor's AB fit. Hey, Astronautistic. Okay, Darwin, I mean, let me address that in a moment here. Wait, where's their Inquisitor? Oh, there it is. I don't think this Garmer's with the rest of them. Let's see here. Perhaps he is. He is. Oh, Loud Noises, I'm glad you're enjoying the music. It's exactly how I didn't want this fight to initiate. Good fight, duders. Good fight. Sorry for being so quiet, guys. Really doing my best to manage my range and stuff. Where's this bomber? Can't really tell. There he is. Oh. What, did I not have my scrambler on him? Oh my god, did I coast pass or was he stabbed? No way he's stabbed. He's doing way too much damage. I fucked up with my tackle. That's so disappointing. Oh well. Did I let it decycle or did I blow out of scrambler range? I'm not even really sure. That's really frustrating. The way that bomber was hitting me, it made me think he may have been polarized fit, but no, I don't think he was polarized fit. Yeah, he probably just turned around and then worked away. So he coasted away? Yeah. God damn it. No scram. Okay. Oh well. How frustrating. How frustrating. That was entirely upon me to lose tackle on that player. Poor tackle on my part. Yeah, Rambo, I blew past him. I didn't think he'd be going that fast, even with the web of fire off. He just did a good job of going the opposite direction and warping away. Probably just, I'm guessing he happened to align, had a good celestial to line away that happened to be the exact opposite direction of the way I was burning into him. Damn. I was looking forward to seeing what that bomber was fit with. I'm guessing that it was polarized torpedoes. With the torpedo launcher, you should only see the missiles that were fired at you. You will not see the type of torpedo launcher used. I meant to use small drones, Njord. If I threw out my ogres and I saw them returning back in, it's because I selected the wrong drone. No other reason than that. He was torping me from 100 kilometers, yes. So he's using javelins. It's cool Tech 2 Fido you got there. How's it going, Melkorian? Hello, power. Where's the Officer Fido from your Twitter post? I have it over here. He's hanging out with the chat. Oh, we can turn that on. Thanks for the reminder about the web of fire. I'll turn it back on once I come out of warp. One of the things that blows my mind, guys, is that my drones survived all that. That blows my mind. They shouldn't have survived. The drones should have been dropping at a crazy rate. How much effective hit points do I rep when I am on drugs? With paste in my repper, I think I rep back about 800 DPS, maybe? I think that's a little bit high. I don't have a very strong active tanking fit. I only have 4 tanking modules. It's more of a gank style fitting. So it's probably around 600 DPS. 600? No, it's probably around 800. 600 DPS is what you see with a cruiser. I find it amusing that small plexes are opening up. But anyway, Darwin, going back to high-sec AWACSing, I feel that there are so many like age-old mechanics to high-security space PvP ever since it's been turned into a PvP-limited area. There are better ways to go about fixing the issue than more or less disabling AWACSing in high-sec. There are so many more or less broken mechanics to AWACSing in high-sec that can be, I think, resolved. You have the Wardeck system, which is atrocious. Some hard iteration on the Wardeck system and on neutral parties and on Crime Watch and high-sec, I think would have been a lot better way to approach it than just getting rid of it the way they did. Definitely takes a lot more effort, and I can understand from CSP's standpoint, let's just get rid of it, let's get rid of this and get rid of a thorn in a lot of our GM sides. I understand that. I'm going to say that CSP took the easy out by implementing that feature, when there's a lot more underlining rot to current high-sec PvP mechanics that really should have been addressed first. And the fact that a lot of high-sec PvP mechanics have still not been addressed is a problem for me. But I mean, that said, there's so many there's so many difficult decisions that CSP really needs to kind of go through and on iterating on their game. I think right now they're trying to hit a lot of low-hanging fruit, which is a smart thing to do from any company's standpoint. A lot of quality life improvements. I mean, this past year has been some of the best as far as game updates are concerned in my eyes. I understand that aspect of it. So... But wait a sec, that friendly fire switch was not intended to be a general fix for high-sec PvP. It was specifically intended to make it easier for new players to get into corporations who have resisted inviting them. It's not intended to make high-sec more safe in general. It's intended to get new players into corps. Okay. I don't disagree. You're gonna give me a big smack on the mouth? Please don't. I'm going to Vegas. Give me a slap on the back and hug me or something, man. I'm totally down for hugs. Oh, okay. Okay, Santi. Okay, I'll take a kiss too. Big wet one. Around the kisser. Hey, Damisolo, how's it going, man? You in system here? No, you're not. Okay. We can be friends then. Oh, dang. Darwin, I'd love to meet you in Vegas. I think the more of my friends that are heading over there, the better. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, it seems that there's not going to be a fairly organized outing to Vegas, which really sucks. I'm hoping that we can get some sort of organization so people can save a buck, etc. Because I'm really behind on say getting housing and stuff. I have no intention of staying at the Planet Rock. Or is it Planet Hollywood? The Planet Hollywood. I wasn't really happy with that hotel. We'll see how that goes. I mean, at the very least, I know Rifterlings are pretty much going out in force, and I intend to spend a lot of my time with Rifterlings guys. They have just talking to Fintaro and what his plans are. It pretty much jives with what I think is going to be really entertaining to do this year. A lot of really fun activities. Oh, night scheme. I mean, if I could go out to Europe more often, I would. I am fully intending at some point in the near future going to a UK meetup. I'd love to go to additional meetups beyond that as well. My current situation, I have the money for it, I just don't have the time for it. And honestly, I have better things to do with that money right now. So I'm pretty much I'm hitting my low hanging fruit myself in eVegas, which is a bit cheaper for me, very close to home, and more bang for my buck with FanFest, where I get to meet lots of cool people. Hey Maximus GG, how's it going? You got some cat gifts for me. How you doing? That's a good one. We'll swap to that one right now. Okay, Thrasher and a Merm. It's the second one you got for me. I can't imagine why a cat would want to retch after sniffing some mozzarella. I wonder what it smells like to a cat. I feel like mozzarella has a very neutral odor. Probably should stay as fusion. If you copy someone's fit, you really need to copy their flying style too. It's actually pretty wise words. But I think more importantly, it's important to adapt it to how you enjoy to fly things. Sorry, did you hear that RVB is moving into next door? Into Lowsec? They're moving to Lowsec? No, I have not heard that. I've heard some stuff, but not that. Uh-oh. It's a little bit too much PC for me. Never thought I'd say those words ever. Boudic soft scan. Oops, wrong button. There's the Merm. Which I could have just killed right now. Blaster fit, huh? Oh, I don't know about that. Blaster fit's gonna be really nasty, especially if he has buddies, which he seems to have buddies. That Brutix is also active, and with the Myrmidon, I'm gonna have a tough time. He's building up velocity very slowly. Makes me think he may be Trimarked or something. Electron blasters. Ooh, what does that even mean? I don't know what that means on a Myrmidon. That confuses the fuck out of me, really. Like double 1600, something like that? I'm very confused. You're safe, dude. Well, the Murmur can now engage me without sentries. That's a thing. Oh, what the fuck? What? What? What is this? Oh my god. Really? 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 Oh my god. Wait, are any of these drones damage drones? Yeah, okay. Fuck's webbing me? I don't even know. Oh, it's web drones, never mind. Jesus. What is webbing me? Damn you, Weber drones! Damn you to Hades! Squeeble's knows, man. He knows. He knows. Oh, too funny. It's funny. I'm getting this sweet 1v1, which is which was going a little bit boring at the time, just because the guy dropped the warriors to try to deal with my ogres. And then I noticed that there's this ring of icons around the other Myrmidon, and those aren't my drones. What is this? They're Moluses. What the fuck? Really? That was awesome. I didn't want to go to Llama. I want to go to Hula. Yeah, I shot Tress, who dropped a fucking Cyno. Oh my goodness. Queenie butts. That's a lot of people in Hula, actually. Ooh, sides. Careful, gang. Ooh. Hey, Sard. Am I able to join your channel and share your overview? Mine's currently terrible, and yours looks great. Sure. Are you in my chat channel in-game? Fragbox? I could share it for you there. Did the other Murms survive? Yeah, I don't think they really touched him. It was a bunch of Moluses. They didn't exactly have a large amount of damage output. So I want to make sure this guy's in docking range. I'm going to bump him a little bit. I think he's actually... Oh. Oh, okay. That's how it's going to be. Uh-oh. Oh, Coop's shooting me! No! No! Why would you do such a thing? From such a long distance. Look! I'm the only person tackling somebody! Fuck you, Coop! Fuck you and the horse you rode on! Swear to God, Coop, if you scram me, I'm not going to be pleased. God damn it, Coop! I'm tackling this son of a bitch and this is how you repay me? Traitorous dog! You and your damn scrambler ganglink bullshits. Oh well. I'm not even going to activate my tank. I'm so distraught over this, I'm not activating shit. So rude. No, Night Scheme, there's absolutely nothing for me to do there. There's no point. Coop, our hero? Thanks. So much thanks. Oh well. Well, been doing this for a little while. What to do, what to do. Let's check out the map. Well, Calgao doesn't look all that bad. I think I'm just going to head directly over there. Do some cyclone stuff. Let's see. Can we get some good drug rolls, though? Game, please. Yes. No. Let's try that again. I bet, Tress, I bet. When I saw that Cyno, I giggled a fair bit. You're in the chat room. Okay. So I know there's a fair number of limitations to what sharing an overview does. I think it's not going to share with you my brackets, things like that. The only monster here is you, Squeebles. Okay. I'll take that. It's not great, but I'll take it. I'll take that too. Well, it's going to be a low HP run. Okay. I need an implant. We were on grid with you for a long time until with the other Merm, until the Brutix and Caracal came in. It looked like you were doing shit to him before those guys came in. So you're automatically evil. It's Botan I had to. But only one man would dare bring a Moleskine. Squeebles. Squeebles. That smug son of a gun. Oh, Skitsy. God. If you want to learn overview stuff, Skitsy, there's a couple of organizations that will walk you through it. University would, Agony Unleashed would, Ouch University would. These are all names you can Google. You can also say go online, Google EVE Online overview, and EVE University I know has a really good Wikipedia article on it. There's a lot of information to the overview, and just taking someone's overview I don't necessarily think is a great idea. I think it's important to understand what's going on under the hood with an overview to better tailor it to perhaps your needs. Now, I know a lot of players don't necessarily want that or need that, but this is kind of like a EVE basic that I think everyone should learn about. So at the very least, I would say just go onto the EVE University Wikipedia, read up a little bit about it, and you will learn how to fish. So you never be asking for fish again. One of these days, I really should just do a like a little tutorial on how to do an overview. I can't remember the last time I've done something like that. Good job, Reina. You got me. Oh, thank you, Bacteria. No, Skitsy, you're not being annoying at all. I encourage people to ask questions like you're doing right now. Unfortunately, the overview is just one aspect of this game that has a lot of detail to it. So going into that detail would be something like a 20 to 30 minute sort of talk, because I would want to go into pretty good detail if I were to talk about it. I can go into some like minor detail about it. Brackets are essentially the icons. Well, brackets are the stuff you see in space. Like, these little icons in space, they show objects in space. They can be celestials, they can be stations, they can be stargates, they can be other ships, they can be NPCs, they can be players, they can be anything that has a little icon in space, that little visual representation of where it is in space, that's a bracket. So I'm pretty sure that the overviews that I can share with you do not show you that stuff. This guy's artillery fit. This guy is artillery fit as well. Oh, I timed that so well. I feel so good about myself right now. I feel like a god right now. Oh, does that feel good? Hey, only one of you were able to get me while I had my suspect up. What is up, dude? You having problems? Yep, you having problems there? Can you track me? You still track me a little bit, dude. God, this feels good. How about them apples? So, what happened there is that one of those guys probably had one more SIBO than the other guy, and he locked me fast. He locked me faster. I waited down my suspect timer where I figured that a battlecruiser at the SIBO would have a decent chance of getting me. And I lucked out. One of them shot me, and the other one... He didn't get Concordokened. He had a green thing, safety. But, only one of them was able to engage me. And, gate camping artillery armor tanked Hurricane is probably the last of my worries in this game. It's just a little feel-good use of crime watch mechanics. How do cap boosters work? Depends on the ship that you're in and the type of modules you're using. A cap booster module uses ammunition in the form of cap booster charges, and it will inject an amount of cap into your capacitor pool in relation to the size of the charge. So a 400 charge will give you 400 capacitor. They'll run through their ammunition, they'll cycle the module, and they'll run through the ammunition, and once they run out of ammunition, they'll go into a reload cycle and load more cap boosters from your cargo. I'm not using a cap booster. I'm actually using what's called an ancillary shield booster, which uses cap booster charges to fuel the module. Once it runs out of cap booster charges, I can opt to use capacitor at a very inefficient rate, or I can let it go into a minute-long reload. Rambo, it would have been utterly hilarious if that were the case, but it's actually fairly rare to run into players that have this lovely thing set to red. How do you earn all that ISK for PvP? These days I don't, Maximus. Occasionally I do level 4 blitzing, but primarily the money I have, I've been kind of coasting off of for the better part of probably a year and a half. I've been playing this game for a little bit over 9 years. I've made a fair bit of ISK, and I've been fairly good about not spending that ISK. Occasionally I'll splurge, but I usually fly in ships that have good effectiveness for the cost that will give me some ISK back in the form of insurance. And I'm more or less a smart PvPer, so I tend to kill a fair bit for every ship I lose. So I do make some of my money back in the loot from the players I kill. These days I don't really make a living, or like an in-game living, off of loot. I used to be a pirate. I used to survive and play off of the loot from kills. These days I don't really do that. But I would say about half of my income is from running missions, and the other half is probably from donations from viewers like you. Zeb, you're beautiful. He never loses ships. Okay. Yeah, Lear, Gnosis don't have a build cost to them. That's why they don't insure well. Well, that's why they don't insure at all. Insurance is based on the cost of production. Some items for some ships don't pay out for insurance. So, for example, for Tech 3 ships and for some Tech 2 ships, they don't insure all that well. Or they don't insure as well as the actual cost of the ship. Whereas the Gnosis, I believe it doesn't cost anything. I don't think there's actually any materials for that the Gnosis requires to build because it's a limited edition ship. It was pretty much given by CCP. Most of the Gnosis were given out as a ship, I believe, or a 1-run BPC. There's also 5-run BPCs that were given out as part of the limited edition something for EVE Online. Like the collector's edition or something like that. And they just don't have any build cost to them. They don't cost any material. I think they may cost like 1 TRIT or something like that. All your creeps. How is industry these days? I quit the game just as Planet Resources was coming out. Before that, I managed a wormhole operation with a medium-sized POS, gas stuff. Did a very profitable trading, manufacturing. Lots of battleships had great margins. T1 production is in the gutter right now. It's very difficult to make money. Essentially, the only way to make any sort of profit off of T1 production is to use a POS and use things that reduce the build cost of stuff, like POS production modules that you can fit to the POS. So T1 production and T1 rig production is really a poor way to make money. Invention's still pretty good. But I also got out of the industry game quite a while ago, so I can't speak too much about it. I've just heard a lot of people complaining about T1 production. I used to do T1 production myself. I used to build a lot of battleships, kind of like you. I also built a lot of Tech 1 modules. I built a lot of fighter drones, stuff like that. I really want to get into this game, Sardcade, but I can... You can't? Or you can justify the monthly subscription. If I can earn enough to game Plex, sure, lol. So I'm assuming you meant can't justify the monthly subscription. Blitz, quite honestly, I have a really hard time understanding that. I think that $15 a month is very cheap. It's the same sort of thing that you pay for a very inexpensive gym membership. If you're that hard for money, I have a hard time saying that EVE would be a good game for you. Any player that has never played this game before and was looking to get into it and play it for free, in the form of grinding up in-game currency, I don't think they're going to have a good time playing this game. Is it possible to do? Yes. Is it possible to do in a decent way where you don't have to spend like several days every day for the entirety of the month to make the money back? Yes. But it's not a way I recommend to play this game. I recommend if you're going to get started in this game that you pay for, you try it, you do a 30-day trial, and that you determine whether or not you want to play the game, whether it's good for you, whether you enjoy it, and then you sub. So I think worrying about ISK in this game in terms of paying for your next month's subscription is not a really good way for new players to play it. But that is my opinion. Is it possible? Yes. Am I the guy to explain how to do that to you? No. Unfortunately, you're going to have to either talk to people in the chat or look elsewhere for that kind of information. I'm not a very good source for that kind of stuff. There's a lot of options, but I don't necessarily have the best, the most up-to-date way to do them. Yeah, Night Scheme, that's not something a new player would have, though. I mean, if you're talking about coming into this game cold turkey, then making enough ISK to buy a Plex with virtually no SP and no capital to start with, you're going to have a hard time. I don't think it's necessarily a good way to start the game. Well, Tattlecat, I mean, despite it being as... There's still lots of room for Eve to improve, but I mean, I don't know your situation, Blitz. Maybe you have a lot of time on your hand. Maybe grinding for currency and playing a game for free is kind of like a reasonable and fun goal for you. I don't know. Maybe that's your thing. So, is that possible? Yes. I'm just not the person to really ask about it. Is Red Frog still a big operation? Yes. Yeah. Red Frog's still a big thing. They're still a very big thing. Yeah. Kind of as people are pointing out for you, is it Blitz? Yeah, Blitz. It's not necessarily a very efficient to grind for money. Like I think it's I'm not saying that trying to make lots of money in this game is something that's not a reasonable thing to shoot for. I think a lot of people do that, and even though they could say sell game time to other players and make that money, making in-game currency in this game can be, reasonably rewarding, both from a community aspect and from an enjoyment aspect. But for the amount of cost to you personally, I think I'd be hard pressed to find someone that is in such dire straits economically that they couldn't afford $15 a month. I mean, the fact that you're talking to me right now on the internet tells me that you're able to afford internet. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know your situation. I think I've said all I can really say on that topic. Yeah, Weschel. I mean, two of my housemates work on cars, and God bless them. I mean, one of them actually will fix them up and sell them and turn around and just use it to get another car, which is awesome. So he's more or less paying for his hobby. Other one, he just pisses money away in it. I had a coworker that pisses money away at cars. Does he enjoy it? Sure. No, I'm not gonna knock it, but video games is probably one of the cheaper hobbies you will ever have in your life. Stug, huh? Stugly. Excuse me, guys. Oh, that's right. I need to take my allergy meds. Shoot. Do that really quick. I'm gonna dock up to do that. I don't know if I have instas here. I have instas in Tama. I'll go to Tama first. And these guys at the large, maybe. By chance. That's true and it's not true, all your creeps. Kind of similar to what you're talking about in refining your knowledge of the game. You can learn how to optimize the way you play the game, and say doing missions can actually make you lots of ISK. It really depends on how optimized your approach is to making money in this game. And another thing that that kind of goes towards people that are casually running missions or casually mining, what have you, and making virtually no money in the game. I think there's a big community aspect to that, and I think there's a big, and for some people it's really enjoyable for them to do things from scratch, or for them to just find their own path in the game at whatever sort of pace they decided to take. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. So even if someone is pretty much scratching at the sand, whereas you're heaping it and forming, sand castles in your eyes, and they're doing just fine. Anyway, guys, I need to actually take some meds. I'll be right back. All right. And we're back. Oh no. It's one of the problems with this nasal spray stuff. It can cause nosebleeds. I smell blood, but I'm not really sure if it's really causing that much of an issue. I have a nosebleed though. Hopefully not. Nice chair. Yeah, get a lazy boy. Honestly, don't sit on it all often, unfortunately. Wish I just sat on it more. So you guys can kind of see, I have my TV set up over there, my bed's right over there. So I'm usually just lazing in the bed when I'm watching TV these days. Have I flown capitals or super caps? The only type of capital I've ever flown is a freighter on an alt. I've never flown a combat super capital or a capital ship. I've thought about getting a Rorqual and fitting up for combat just for giggles on my alt, but I've never really gotten around to it. I have really no desire to get into that style of PvP, mostly because of how capital ship PvP's evolved in recent years. Sard smells blood. It's mine, though. Solo carry roams might be kind of cool. The bigger problem with running around with a capital ship alone like that is that you don't really have good locking time. So typically what would happen is that you'd have smaller ships observing you, maybe attacking you occasionally, and eventually you'd have larger organizations that live in that area sniff you out and go hunt you down and kill you. The only real way for that to be effective is if you are part of a larger power block that kind of controls a certain area of space. And with that in mind, I guess a solo carrier roam could be incredibly valuable. It's actually a very powerful ship. Carriers are really good right now. But it's not exactly a feasible thing to do in today's EVE. What do you think of the dual XL ASB Cyclone versus your current fit? It's a very different way of approaching PvP. I think it's a really strong fitting. I don't like it for doing the general style of roaming what I do right now. I think it's much more limited than this ship, even though it has a much better, stronger, sustained tank. But if you can get the fight where that sustained tank is going to be effective, where you're tanking just what your ship's able to tank and killing things and brawling, then it's great. Otherwise, I much prefer the mobility of this burst tank style fitting. Did I see a Ferox? I assume that is Lynx for somebody's. A Claymore as well. Do people still move into level 4, 5, 6 wormholes and build dreadnoughts inside to farm top level missions? Yes. 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 Wormholes are huge. In fact, as I understand it, there are some organizations that are trying to make wormholes renter sort of places. Trying to rent wormholes. I've heard of this. I don't know how much validity there is to that. I thought it was interesting to hear, though. So I'm guessing those guys are in the station then. It's a much smarter place to put your links. Where is the damn station, though? That is a state. Oh, it's a difficult ship model to bump things off of. Oh man, who do I try to bump? Do I try to go for the Ferox or do I go for the Claymore? Really, I guess it depends on who I get to bump. I'm tempted to just tag these guys, then go for it. Let's see how deep inside the station model they are. God, so stupid. So boring. I'm looking forward to this leaving the game. So that guy I can't bump. I can go for the Claymore, though. It's the most unfair fight you've ever taken to one. Oh, I have no idea. It's probably been lost to memory. There's nothing that's really on top of my head. I've had some pretty crazy, amazing fights in my day. They come about very rarely, but it'd be very fun. I have a really good fight in a Hyperion versus a pretty large frigate cruiser destroyer gang that you can check up on my YouTube page. It's on the highlights section. It's a pretty good one. I wouldn't say that's like the most crazy engagement I've ever had, but it's a pretty good one. Two hot dropping Lokis that didn't have fuel. That's a pretty funny one to watch. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's the craziest one I've ever been in. In fact, it was very one-sided. For reasons that aren't immediately apparent. I have no experience for managing POSs. I have no experience at all. Where is Claymore this is? Nope, he woke up. And that's the end of that. A couple of wasted minutes. Wish to buy tornadoes. Follow that ship. Fortunately, I don't think native following has really caught on over in Calgal space for dealing with links. Links are, I think, a lot more prevalent in this area space, despite what some players might tell you. I don't think people are actively engaging links on stargates or stations over here from what I've seen. Hey, Kimichi. Sard, please explain when a Tech 2 MDD is more beneficial than Death's meta. I know it has something to do with power grid and capacitor. It's mostly fitting that people use meta MDDs. The only real reason that you'd ever use a Tech 2 MDD over a meta MDD is for the cap penalty on the module. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is a really nifty tool. It's called the Compare tool. It allows you to compare attributes on modules. So the first thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at the fitting. And we see that the Tech 2 module takes more power grid. So it's immediately at a disadvantage. It has the same velocity bonus, has the same signature plume, same penalties. It actually, I believe, deals more... I believe it heats up faster. It will cause more damage. And it's not in the heat damage it generates, it's in how much of a chance it has to generate heat. And that's something I don't think you see in game. Now, the reasons why you'd ever use the Tech 2 MDD is for the cap penalty. Let me look for that one. So, the Tech 2 MDD has 2% less of a cap penalty, but it takes more cap to run. So, if you're going to be running your MDD at a good rate, constantly, it's pretty much a wash. If you're going to be maneuvering for a long period of time, it's pretty much a wash and slightly favors the meta MWD, which already has fitting advantages. The Tech 2 MWD is just a nicety if you don't intend to be really activating it all that often. It leaves you with a greater base capacitor pool, which then enables you to have slightly better cap regeneration. This will be going away with the propulsion module rebalancing that I believe is scheduled to hit in just a couple of days, in about a week's time. I'm doing pretty good, Kamichi. We got some pretty good PvP over in mini Amar space. Unfortunately, over in Calgal, we're not really finding the fights as we were finding them elsewhere. I don't really trust that area space. I'm probably just going to head right back over to Hadley's, just because I don't really think I'm going to get that much in the way of fights. So let's head over to Niswa. Where are those guys going? Station? Gate? Okay. Tech 2 MWDs for battleships, 100 MWDs, are actually way more worth it for Tech 2 for just that reason. The reason being that they have less of a capacitor penalty. I don't agree. And that's mostly because of the fitting, is why I don't agree. And actually, with the adjustments to capacitor use on micro warp drives, I find myself in a battleship activating my micro warp drive all the fucking time. Another thing about battleships is that they don't really have a great regeneration rate anyway. Most battleships are going to be using cap injectors to be feeding their capacitor pool, not necessarily their passive recharge, unless you're doing PvE activities. It's only in PvE and activities do you really see cap recharge in battleships as being a thing that people do. And I personally don't even like that. What skills am I working towards? I'm about to finish one up. It is the effectiveness skill for target painters. I'm really just shoring up a lot of support skills that I've had trained for a very long period of time that I haven't really had, that I've had pretty much better skills to train, and I'm just finally gotten to the point where, hey, might as well just train them up. Yeah, Blitz, if you read up on this game and you do your homework, I think you can meet that goal without too much hassle. Like it'd be a lot of time spent in the game, which you're probably going to be doing anyway, but it's not something that I would say a new player should really have as their initial goal of getting that Plex. You can do it, I think, pretty effectively within a few months, but for like especially that first initial subscription, I think it's going to be a lot more beneficial for your enjoyment of this game for you to sub for, I would say, at least 3 months should be a good safe number. But you know, just see if you like the game first. I see you flying BCs every time I drop by. I hope you enjoy that night shift. It's kind of my thing. You know what? I was meaning to do this about halfway through my stream, Clash. But let me see where we're at now. Okay, we're at a much better spot. So, Brandon749 in the chat, he's been hanging out, he's been helping answer some of your questions, just being a generally nice and helpful guy. He is a friend of EVE Online streamers. He's been around in the streaming community for a while. You guys probably know him from over on Zhao's stream, Local for Loki on Twitch TV. He's been playing games with him for a while. He's been a long time supporter of Zhao's stream. And he's done a lot of graphical design work for Zhao, and he's done some stuff just for funsies for me as well. He most recently did a troll image for a Shadowrun game that I'm seeing if I'm going to get into. He's currently looking at doing streaming. So I would appreciate it if you guys, Brandon, say, wave in the chat, if you give him a follow, if you're interested in that sort of thing. So it's something that's kind of growing in popularity in Twitch TV, which is artsy sort of streams, people doing drawings, people doing music. A lot of people that visit Twitch TV probably don't know about that, especially people that are from my EVE Online community. But if this is something that may pique your curiosity, I recommend that you give him a follow. He also has a website and other stuff. I don't know if the ad has come up yet. I might just bring it up myself. But Brandon has a website. Brandon, just feel free to link your website and talk about this sort of stuff. I mean, they can always go to your website and see your rates and what you do and how you do it, blah, blah, blah. But I think the big thing is he's looking to start streaming soon. As I understand, he's looking to start streaming on a regular basis, I believe Monday of next week. He's just getting everything sorted and set up. But Brandon, thank you for your contributions to the streaming community. I'm hoping that we can give back a little bit to you and just perhaps some curious people and maybe a little bit more than that. So, Brandon, thanks for your contributions, and hopefully this helps you out a little bit. So again, he's Brandon's Clash, as I know him. He's been around the EVE Online Twitch community, and he's done a lot of really nice stuff for us. So I hope you guys can help me out and help him out. Just go check him out. I believe he's going to be starting streaming on Mondays. So if you've never seen that before, I think watching artsy stuff is actually fairly interesting stuff. I know there's been one individual, I think it's Kyle Plays Piano or something like that on Twitch TV, a guy that's been playing piano and playing a lot of video game music on piano, which has been fucking amazing. I've also been watching occasionally some other dudes, Solgren, the maker of I Want to Be the Boshi. He's also been streaming on Twitch TV, doing lots of artsy stuff, which actually is pretty interesting. That Tech 2 video, yeah. A lot of appreciation for the Fido in this stream channel. Do you know what hybrid ammo has the best tracking? All normal Tech 1 and faction ammo is going to have equal tracking. Tech 2 ammo is going to have tracking penalties. There is no hybrid ammo that has a better tracking bonus except for long-range weapons. So for railguns, there's a Tech 2 ammo with a tracking bonus. I believe it's called Javelin. That's the only hybrid ammo that has a tracking bonus to it. There's a stream of a guy that makes clay models of EVE ships. I have never seen this, Berta. Is he still doing it? Nice, Stone. You better put some garbage in there, or else the Fido's just gonna start eating everything else in the container, because they get hungry. Gotta be careful with your Fidos. Oh, I forgot that, yeah, Finn's sister was also doing a fair bit of streaming. Is she also streaming still? Berta says, no, he hasn't done it in a long time. Last one he made was Dramiel with the clay models. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I never saw that. Damn, that sounds really cool, too. I Want to Be the Boshi. That game is hell on earth. I understand that some people, that someone is searching for a challenge, but developing that is madness. Yeah, I think Solgren has a fair bit of sadism in him. He actually made a video game called Wings of V, which actually has all his own proprietary stuff, so it's actually something he was able to charge for. And it's a very similar game, a lot better refined. Pretty cool game. If you enjoy Boshi, that's Wings of V is probably a good one for you. Card Sin, so it's your Dramiel. No shit. If you have an image of it, Card, I'd love to see it. I don't know if you ever showed it to me. If you had, it's been a while. It's been too long, and I forgot. Yeah, I love the art of Wings of V, and it's, you know, kind of. I don't know who's mentioning that it's a crazy game. Maximus was mentioning it's a crazy game. It's not. I'm not that big into platformers, and a platformer like that, to hell with that. I would not play it. But watching people play it, like Man vs. Game or Lethal Frag, I really enjoy that. I really enjoy playing vicariously through someone else in that regard. I thought it was really interesting to see someone kind of challenge themselves and overcome a game like that. Yeah, Card, I mean, if I was to look at it, would you mind if I showed it on stream, or is it kind of private to you? Oh, he's streaming right now! Awesome. Dude, I will check him out. That looks awesome. Awesome games done quick. In 2 months? I didn't realize this was coming up so soon. I just felt like they finished their last event. Well, Clash, I mean, again, thanks for hanging out and doing all the work you've done for the community. And it sounds like you're just going to be doing more work, more or less pro bono for the community. So, you know, the more I can help you out, the better. And I'm just hoping that even a couple of people head over to you and enjoy your stuff and stick with you. And you know, I think it's big for any stream. I'm gonna lose so much sleep watching AGDQ. Oh yeah, it was hard during the last one. It wasn't hard, but a lot of the games I wanted to watch were being played while I was at work, so I was kind of sad about that one. But they were there for me when I got home. I could just watch the VODs at the end. Why do I have friendlies on my general overview tab? Why is this a thing? It's not a bad idea. Friendlies are evil, but filter out. Filter out. Filter out. Filter out. Okay. Oh. Oh no! Okay, Cartson didn't say anything about the image that I saw, which means I'm not going to show it. I don't see why he'd send it on a direct message. Oh, you didn't actually message it here. Card, you didn't actually send an image, by the way, you just said here. I haven't seen a Bioshock Infinite run yet. Oh, you resent it? Okay. Card, again, do you mind if I show it on stream? Is that okay with you? Because you send it to my public Twitter, so I mean, some people are going to see it. Holy shit, that's amazing. Is that tape I see? Oh no, that's just the base. God, that guy's craftsmanship is amazing. So that's a clay model? I don't mind. Okay, well let me share it with you guys. Cause that's a piece of art right there. Let me see, can I copy the link address? I'll share it with you guys. Copy link address. Enter. And I'll bring it up on the stream for you guys to see. Look at that. I just wish I had a little bit better quality image. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in or anything. But I mean, you can tell the attention to detail in this model is just outstanding. I'm looking forward to watching that guy stream and do models. I used to do tabletop miniatures like on a very, very novice basis with some BattleTech stuff and some Warhammer stuff. I've always been really intimidated about larger models, and I consider this a larger model. And even though I know it isn't, it's actually fairly small, but it's gorgeous. That's really cool. You love the Geddon model? Yeah, the Geddon. Oh man, I missed the Geddon when it was a gun platform. I'm gonna be forever nostalgic for the 7-gun T1 Armageddon. It has a special place in my heart for the fights I've gotten with that. Armageddon Navy issue just isn't the same because it's not cheap. I still have a turret fit Geddon that I'm sitting on. I don't know if I'm ever going to refit it, but it just kind of makes me cry whenever I look at it. Just stranded in low sec with a 7-gun fitting. Well, Clash, here's the thing though. I mean, you can do pretty much the same fitting, except that it has a much higher reliance on drones. It does about the same amount of damage output. It still has really good projection. You can use guards and do essentially the same thing. It's actually much stronger now. It worked well. I think it was what it really comes down to. It worked well. Even though it's better now, it felt good. It worked very well in the metagame back then. Well, alright guys. That's going to be it for me tonight. So I hope you enjoyed the content tonight. What I'm planning to do with Dimitri's stuff, I don't know if any of you guys were around for Monday's stream, but there's a fine gentleman that follows the stream called Dimitri. Forgot the last part of his name. But he gifted me a whole bunch of faction battleships. What I'm going to try to do with those, I'm going to try to hit up Big Mike. I haven't been able to talk to him yet and do like some duo stuff maybe. Maybe a little bit of stuff with the U-Hurt guys, and fly those with some gang links, with some implants, and do them up proper. We've already got most of them fit up. So that's the plan for those guys, for all those that saw the Twitter teasers and what I'm doing with those. That's the plan. So we're gonna get those things into space as soon as possible in a way that I'm comfortable with. As far as other things going on, we have AT practice within the WeHurt Alliance gearing up, which I'm looking forward to, and I'm very not looking forward to. It's a lot. It's a very big time commitment for those of you that have never actually been a part of an AT team before. The Neo experience, especially towards the end, was not only nerve-wracking, but a big part about how elated I think our team was for the Neo, the WeHurt team was for the Neo, is that we put so much time into it, and to have that payoff felt amazing. So it's going to be a lot of work. So it's going to be something that may affect the stream. Hopefully it won't affect it too negatively. I still haven't really figured out the topic for this week's podcast. I still very much intend to be doing that. So we'll see how that pans out. I still haven't really seen a conversation on Twitter. I might just kind of come up with the topic and poke some people to see if they want to come on. But I still fully intend to do that stuff. I think there's a lot of really good feedback, and not only that, but attention to the little podcasting thing that Rick Javix, myself, and Baki Sandwiches did on Combat Recon direction scannable role bonus. So that's going to be a thing soon. But other than that, guys, same old in the Star Wars world. We'll be streaming on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific. Weekend stuff, I haven't done it yet, but I really need to take the weekend off the rosters and try to figure out what I'm going to be doing through the weekend. I really want to have a European Primetime cast. And it seems that if I'm going to do that at all, it's going to be on Sundays. So I might suck it up and just do that early in the Sunday and then have the rest of the day off. I'm not really sure, but we'll see how that goes. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the night. I hope you enjoyed. And fly reckless. Have a good rest of your week, guys.